Alright, so Jump Showdown updated, as you guys probably know, and they finally added new things to Skill Builder. So I'm going to show you guys how to use every single one of them. Alright, so let's start off with special effects, which is basically just preset things that you can use. So there's field of view, which, by the way, you have to click it and then right click to test it. So there's field of view. If we go here to scale, by clicking on these three dots, you can change the start point. This little dotted line in the middle is like the base, or you can just click on value and set to 0, and then it'll revert it, as you can see. So this is the start FOV, and this is the end FOV. So if I set this really high, for example, it'll take 1 second because that's what we have it set to, and it'll bring my FOV all the way up. Or if we set it like that, do the same thing, right? Now, in order to get base FOV again, you basically just have to, set it back to 0. If you want it to transition back to your regular FOV instead of just snapping, what you can do is put this FOV right here, and then you just right click it and it'll go back. So we can have one that goes down and one that goes up. So in and then out. Alright, so FOV is like the main really complicated one, so I'm just going to zoom through these. Also, you can click this to test it, or like I said, you can just right click it if you're on PC. Now, camera. This changes your camera position. So it just makes custom cutscenes really easy. I mean, so you can choose what to attach it to. So if I attach it to my head, then I'll see what it's like from inside my head. Okay, so position. It doesn't really work just by, putting numbers here. You have to click on the three dots and then go to one of the keyframes, and then you set it right here. So if we do like, let's keep it in the middle. So first number is left and right, second number is up and down. Let's also keep it in the middle, and then the next number, the same thing because that's the start. But then the end, I want it to move like, say 10 back. So just 10 on its own is backwards, but if it's -10, then it will be forwards. So then it moves back. Really simple. And of course, adorn is just, oh, that's not it. Oh, I meant attached to is just where it's attaching. So if we do world local, then it will just stop in that one place because it's not attached to me. If I do world, then it'll go, on a random point of the map. Root attachment, it's your root attachment, of course. I recommend doing root attachment because that always stays in one position and it won't like swing around like how it does with your head. So just do root attachment because it's much easier. Alright, next. Color correction. This one is also really simple. You can just change the contrast of your screen, which is what gives it color. So if I set it to like -1, then it'll do that. Oh wait, no, that's not contrast, it gives it color, but you get it. And then saturation, if I set this to -1, then you can make everything gray, which gives it a really good time stop effect, especially if you do like -0.5 brightness along with it. That's really good. But yeah, that will really help with time stops and like sand and stuff like that, Next is highlight, which highlights your character. I mean, we attach the character, you can see it highlights you, and then you can do right arm instead, and it'll highlight your right arm. You can do world local, probably won't do anything, but you can choose like the specific things that it highlights. So you can highlight your torso, as you can see it's highlighting. But if you just do character, as you saw before, it'll highlight absolutely everything, all accessories and everything. And then transparency, you can set, like if you want it to start off at matte, if you want to start off fully transparent and then like fade in, you can do that if you set this one to highest. If you want it to start fully visible, and then go transparent. You just set it like this, and you can also add keyframes in the middle, by the way. I don't know if I said that yet, so you can make it like do a weird little pulsating thing like this. So like flashes. It's actually pretty cool. Alright. Oh, and if I haven't said this before, time is just how long it takes. So if you set it to 1-1, then it'll always take 1 second. If you set it to 0-1, then it'll take any time in between 0 seconds and 1 second. So it can do 0.2, 0.5, 0.8, stuff like that. Or if you just set it to 0.5, for example, 0.5, comma 0.5, then it'll all happen in 0.5 seconds. So it's pretty simple. So it's back to 1. Alright, next is afterimage, which it's just highlight, but it stays in place. So I don't really need to say much about this. Oh, neonify, it changes if your afterimage is like neon or not. So you can turn that off if you just want it to look like that. But everything else is the same. So you can just make it have an afterimage. Oh wait. Okay, everything else is the same, kinda. So you can only make it do an afterimage of your entire body. So visibility. This just changes your actual character visibility, so I can make myself invisible. Let me just do all these key points real quick. You can basically just make yourself invisible. So I can go to right arm, then transparency 1, and it'll make my right arm invisible. And then I can do that for everything else too if I just choose character. And it's the same thing, you can make it like, you know, bounce around or whatever, so you like flash in and out if you do that. Or of course, if you just want it to change value instantly, you can just do transparency 1 and 0. 0 is fully visible and 1 is fully transparent. Now mesh. I don't really have any mesh IDs to showcase right now, but it's basically just like the one in Jutsu Shenanigans, where you put in the mesh ID and then the mesh texture ID. And then you can change the transparency too, by the way. But you can change the position just like how you do with the camera one, so you have the start and end position. And then orientation. Oh, I forgot to talk about this in the camera thing, but you can do that too, and it's basically just position, but of course you have to start and end. And then time is how long it takes for all that to happen. And then lastly, mesh, or not mesh, light. This one, I haven't really used this one at all, actually. Who am I kidding? It's exactly what I thought it was then. It just spawns a light that follows you around. Let's do like skill 10 and brightness 10 just to demonstrate. Yeah, it's just a light. Really simple stuff. And that's all for special effects. Alright, so Hitbox. If you right click it, it'll show you the hitbox size. And it scales just like a part, for example. So if I take this part, then I make it all 6, then it's going to be the exact same size as the hitbox. Oh, wait, messed up the size there. Yep, same size. So it scales just like a part. And of course, you can just click on this or right click it to view it if you don't want to have to spawn a part and do all that. And max hits is basically how many things it can hit while it's spawned in. So we set it to 1, then it'll hit one thing and it won't hit anything else afterwards. I usually just set this to like 1,000, or that's definitely not 1,000, that's higher. But you know, I just set it really high so it can hit as many things as possible. Duration is how long the hitbox lasts. So you can set it to 5, and then it'll last for 5 seconds. And hit interval is if you want it to like constantly hit something, then you can set it to like 0.05, and every 0.5 seconds, as long as someone's in it, then it'll deal damage or do this hit branch stuff. And dealer, it might look confusing at first, but it just means does this deal damage or stun. So you can set 5 seconds of stun, You could do like 50 damage. Can kill, depends. That changes if it can actually like kill the person or not. I would just keep this on if I were you. Stun animation. I'm pretty sure it just like pauses whatever animation the person is doing. But I haven't really tested out stun animation yet, so I don't know. And then blockable, it's obvious what that is. Hit user means that it can actually hit the person who's using it, so I don't recommend that. There's hit ragdoll, which of course lets you hit ragdoll. And then attached to, I would just keep this as character or root attachment, because then it'll attach it to your character and root attachment. So, and this hit branch stuff, it works exactly like hit to text basically. And then there's health and range, which it's basically just a hit to text. So if this guy has 30% health like he has right now, and I set this to 30, then it'll branch to a specific, or no, it'll only hit them if they're in this specific health range. And then there's targeting, which this basically just changes who the hitbox spawns at. So you can do last hit, which will spawn it at the recent person you hit with the skill. Nearest, which will spawn it at the nearest person to you when you're using the skill. And then there's default, which will just set it. So like if you have it in a hit branch, it'll just set it to target. And if you have it here, then it'll just set it to you. So that's all stuff with hitbox. Okay, so points is really simple. So you change the name of the point that you want. So I can just set this to like ammo, for example. And then equals. So there's all this stuff. I have no idea what Q does, but equals, it makes it that it'll just set your points to that exact value. So if it's 20, for example, it'll set your points to 20. If it's 10, it'll set it to 10. There's no adding or subtracting, it just sets it to it. And then there's plus, which I have no idea what any of this stuff does except for plus, minus, and equal. So I'll just tell you that since it's all I really need to know. So plus, it adds this value to your points. So you can add plus 1 point, you can add plus 10 points. It's adding, right? And then minus, which is subtracting. So it'll remove 20 points, or remove 10 points, or remove whatever you set the value to. Okay, so grab, I was just recently testing this stuff, so I already made an entire skill for it. But what you want to do is you need a skill, and then you add a hit branch to that skill, or yeah, hit branch, so that whenever the skill hits someone, it'll activate this branch, and this branch here is where you want your grab to be. Now, let me just set this to 2 for testing purposes. So attach from is the limb on your body that you want to grab the person. So if you set it to head, then it'll make that person attached to your head, or right arm, it'll make that person attached to your right arm. And then attached to is what you're grabbing on the other person. So I have it set to torso right now, so I'll grab the torso. Position and orientation is just position orientation. -1 right now will make them a little bit below my arm, so they're not like in the middle and they're like at where my hand is. And then this is just to rotate them so that they'll be facing down. So if I use it right now, it works, as you can see. And then it lets go after the duration that you set for it, which is 2 seconds on for me. So that's how to do grabs. Alright, next is counter. So I haven't really experienced it with this one much yet, but I have a basic idea on how it works. So first off, overrides, no idea what that does, but I'll just leave it on if I were you. Tier is the tier of things that it can counter. So tier 0 would be, I'm guessing, nothing. Tier 1 is like basic melee attacks, like M1s, stuff like that. Tier 2 is like, I'm guessing, like ragdoll attacks, right? And then tier 3 is like huge attacks like special hell, or what else? Yeah, that's the one that I can think of. just special hell. That's the only tier 3 attack that I know. But it basically just changes what level of damage and ragdoll and stuff it can counter. So if you want it to be able to counter everything, set it to tier 3. If you want to be able to counter like specifically M1s or basic melee attacks, set it to 0 or 1. I really don't know what the difference between them is, but I would just say set it to 1. Now, duration is how long the counter lasts. So you can set it to like that, and it'll just last forever. Or you can set it to 1, like how it currently is automatically. So the counter will last for 1 second before it stops. Stun, I'm pretty sure it's how long it stuns you if you miss the counter. And then max uses is, I have no idea what that does either, honestly. But I would just set this really high if I were you. And then hit branch and branch 2 is basically just to hit detect stuff, where if it hits the counter, hit branch will do the things on the target, and then branch 2, it'll branch the entire skill over to the branch that you want. And then targeting, I'm pretty sure none of this matters for counters, so I just set it to user or default. But I'm not sure. I think though, if you set it to target, then it'll make the target do the counter instead. Alright, so dialogue. First off, don't even think about using character icon, because as far as I know, it's bugged. So you can put anything there and it just won't work. But that's my personal experience. You guys might see other things. Okay, so text is obviously what text it says. So we just set it to like, hi guys. And then duration is how long the text will last. Let's set it to 1.5 because that usually works decently. So 1.5 seconds. Range is how far away you have to be to get the dialogue. So if they're 100 studs away, then they will get the dialogue. If it's set to this. Dialogue type. Storyboard is like in Jujutsu Shenanigans, where when you use an ultimate, you know how it does the little text boxes next to you? That's what storyboard is. Well, I'll demonstrate it so you don't have to worry about that. But scale is obviously the scale. So 3 is left and right. Yeah, first number is left and right, so let's just set this to like 5. Let's get a decently big box. And then 8, or the second number is up and down, so let's set this to 8. And then text color is obviously the text color, so let's just set this to 000 so that the text is all black. And then save. And now we can test it, and there you go. Simple as that. Now, of course, this is storyboard dialogue. If we do Tekrun, or however that's pronounced, it'll make the text appear like at the bottom of your screen, as you can see, like that. And then text color is exactly what you think it is. It's just text color, as I just showed. So I can just set this to like white, and we just a few more. But yeah, it's all there is. That's all they added. Actually, well, there's some modifiers and stuff, like scale, which sets your character size, obviously. There's team, which sets your team. And that's all they added to modifiers, but... Oh wait, no, they added erase too, which lets you delete items that you've added to yourself, which is really good. I haven't tested this much yet though, but I'm guessing you just have to set the name of the part that you attach to yourself, and it'll break or destroy. And decorative mode, no idea what that does, but I think it'll just delete items that are decorative too. So if you're using items that just appear on you and they stay there forever, and you want to remove them, I recommend turning on decorative mode. And if you turn on all, then it won't do any name, it'll just remove all accessories from you. So yeah, it's how to use erase. And you of course can just put in a modifier with a range or something. Or actually no, you probably won't even need range if you're putting in a modifier. But yeah, that's all the new stuff in this new update, and the game is shutting down in 5 minutes, so I should probably wrap this tutorial up. But yeah, hopefully this guy... I messed up. I meant to say, hopefully this tutorial helps you guys out a bit. Hopefully a lot, actually, because this is a lot of new stuff and it can be kind of confusing. But anyways, I'll see you guys next video.